Nick, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And we can start now. Um,
Yes.
so the first question for you would be, last May you had your UFC debut
Yes.
in Germany, in Berlin, in front of your home crowd. Tell us a little bit about your experience fighting, in your country, in making a UFC debut in your country in front of an audience, in front of your home audience. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that was the most amazing sports moment of my career. I can really say that. Looking back to that moment, it was so exciting, and the best was really, there was so much tension before. I mean, there was a lot of pressure because it was the first event in Germany again, and and there was a lot of media pressure, and everyone was really watching how is it going to end up, because I gave a lot of interviews before, and everyone was watching, and they said maybe this is too much pressure for the guy, but the first step I took into the hall, it was gone. All the fear, all the doubts, everything was gone. And I can tell you that was the biggest party I ever had. Walking into the octagon, all the fans, they were cheering for everything and for every step I did, and it was really. I'm still working on when I think of this moment. I'm still going through that. It's really cool.
Incredible. Now, Nick, you've mostly competed in your previous fights. You've got an excellent mixed martial arts record. Um, Now, you've mostly competed in either middleweight or welterweight. Now,
Yes.
now let's talk about your UFC debut. You debuted in your lightweight division. Why is that so?
It's because it's just the level of athletes is just so high, and you really have to consider that I'm of like average lightweight size. I'm not too tall, and I realized when I went into the Hilton Hotel in Berlin, there was Luke, no, Sean Strickland. He's a middleweight fighter, and I thought he was the tallest guy I've ever seen, and he was like 2 meters high, and that was like the average size of the middleweight fighters walking around. And I thought, I fought in this weight division when I started, it was really hard to believe. So going back or thinking of that time, for this time it was okay because the level I fought in was not that high, but when you go really on world class, you have to really concentrate and try to make a benefit out of everything. And the size, the reach advantage, and those kind of stuff
Hmm.
took me to the decision to go to lightweight.
Good stuff. Now, let's talk a little bit about your training in Germany. Can you talk about your current camp and your coaches and your sparring partners?
Yes, for now I'm working with two head coaches. One is Gareth Ilbay, and another one is Rainer Frank. Really German name, Rainer Frank, and they're really good. They are really like specialists on their base. One is for stand-up fighting, the other one is for MMA ground fighting. And yeah, the special situation in Germany is we don't really have those really big training centers. So most of the time, actually, I'm right now staying in my car, going to all the different training places. So it's not unusual for me every day to go to 3 different places. I get up early in the morning, have my breakfast, and then I get in the car, go to my the first training session. I live next to Cologne, so my training center is in Cologne. I go, for example, kickboxing and sparring sessions in the morning or technique, and then I go back to my home place. I have a little nap, and then I go or and food, and then of course I go to the next training in the afternoon on a different place. So I'm really like traveling a lot right now.
Okay, now you are a very high level judo fighter. You have a very, very strong judo background. How applicable is judo in mixed martial arts, and how does it fit into your game plan?
It fits really well because I like the judo takedowns out of the clinch, and I feel that the more I get used to the different fighting style of MMA, of course MMA is different than judo, the more I'm able to use judo. Now as I really like boxing and also the ground fighting part, as I get used to this, I get more relaxed. Therefore I can use judo way more. So
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a nice surprise in Texas because
I'm looking forward to that fight in Texas actually.
Yes.
Now you're known for your explosiveness in the cage. Tell us a little bit about your strength and conditioning regimen.
You know, I think this is really important part for me. You know, I mean, when you see me, you know, my wife always says I look like the Hulk, you know, and you know, I know I accepted this fact that I'm really explosive and strong, and I think it also comes back to my judo background because we used to do a lot of strength training and explosive strength training, and yeah, this is something like I took out of this time and still can use. In judo time, I could use it for explosive throws, and now I can use it for explosive, you know, punching.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really take benefit out of that.
Excellent, excellent. Now coming back to Texas, your next opponent is James Vick,
Yes.
who is a less experienced fighter. Arguably, he's the underdog going into this fight. What are we to expect? What would be your game plan going into this fight? Because you know, at the end of the day, even though he's an underdog, you can never. Everybody loves the underdog. What is
That everybody loves the underdog. I wouldn't consider him an underdog because you know the situation is different. I'm fighting in his country, in his state. You know, it's his hometown. I had the great situation in Berlin, fighting my backyard. Now I'm going to his backyard. So this is all like some facts that that will play for him. So I think I shouldn't leave any doubts. So I'm not planning to leave this fight to the judges. No, I'm not allowed to tell more because otherwise my coaches will punch me.
Absolutely, absolutely excellent. So we would be expecting a knockout event from you on UFC.
No, let me say it like this: if I'm able to take a submission, I will take the submission. If I'm able to knock him out, I will knock him out.
Excellent.
If it's God's will, I will do it.
Excellent. Now let's talk a little bit about your acting career. You're quite known for your acting. Now you see there are fighters like Ronda Rousey who are you know very good at judo, but they're also very famous actors. Like you know she's made quite a mark in Hollywood. Do you have Hollywood in your sights along with your UFC career?
Yeah, there's a nice saying like dream of the possible to achieve the possible, and you know I would say why not? You know if there's everything unfolds after a while. You know, going back 2 years ago, I would have never expected like everything like this year how it happened. You know, UFC contract, first win in the UFC, maybe second win if it's got to in the UFC. You know, the acting, the show is airing this year, next month. Actually, everything is so exciting. So no, if from 2 years to now, if it went like this, you know. So why shouldn't it go like this in the future? But you know, I'm always really like careful, you know, with my expectations because there's a funny saying like you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans. You know, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So yeah, if it happens, it happens. I'm excited.
Now, Nick, you're also a police officer by day. Um, you know, tell us a little bit about your current involvement in the police force, and how is that affecting? How do you balance that with your training?
Yeah. It's actually, you have to divide like the on and the off season. You know, in the on season, like right now, I'm really focused on training, and I have the opportunities to do my professional full time training. So um, once in a while, I go during this time. I go to work, but I really focus on training. In the off season, for example, right after my last fight, I went the whole work like job to my job again, and then I'm a normal patrol officer. You know, I'm a police sergeant, and I'm walking in the streets, and protecting protecting the public, as good as I can, and do my duty. And it's nothing extraordinary. For me, it's just a job. But yeah,
Now,
like this.
on an end note, Nick, I've interviewed Alexander Gustafsson. I've interviewed a few fighters. After you reach a point in your career, they decide to move on to the United States. I spoke to Bruno Frazato earlier, and he said that it's more organized in the U.S. to train as opposed to in Brazil. What would you be looking to move to the U.S. at some point, or somewhere else to establish camp?
I think there is definitely something that could happen, because I agree that that just face the training situation. In the States, you can train way more professionally because they have everything in one place usually, like in the really good training centers, and just like when you follow the development MMA, the States, like the media, the commercial, like the public interest in sports, it's really more exciting than it's right now in Germany, because or in Europe in general. So of course there would be an opportunity, and I think I would really like it there as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time, Nick, and I look forward to seeing you in the future to compete, and best of luck
Thank you
from
very
Fighting
much.
Lifestyle UAE. Thank you.
Thank you.